What's up everyone, back for another beer review, and today I will be reviewing yet another beer from Dancing Gnome, and they are out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, and this is their Lustra. So they're calling this one an American Pale Ale that comes in at 5.8% alcohol by volume, 45 IBUs at the time of review. I don't know exactly how old this can is because it does not have a canned on date, but I did pick this up at one of my favorite local bottle shops. And I was actually at that bottle shop the week before, and this was nowhere to be found in the store. So this probably just showed up in the last week or so. I'm hoping it's relatively fresh, hopefully no older than like 2 months old, but preferably, at least the oldest I would like to see this trying it fresh is 6 weeks old, but whatever. I would assume this is fresh, but no can on date, so who knows. Anyway, this is, when it comes to Dancing Gnome, kind of their flagship beer. On the back here, they have a little spiel. It says, the one that started Dancing Gnome. Our favorite beer and soon to be yours is Perfect Pale Ale is, and they talk about tasting notes, which maybe we'll read at the end if I remember, but this is brewed with Citra and Amarillo. And I reviewed a couple beers from Dancing Gnome in 2022. And a lot of people were like, have you had Lustra? You got to try Lustra. I've heard nothing but good things about Lustra. I know they do Lustra Day every single year where they release, I think it's double Lustra, triple Lustra, Lustra Lager, and a whole bunch of different Lustras, which I would love to go to at some point in the future. So I've heard about Lustra, never got a chance to try it, and now we get some slight distribution here in the Buffalo, New York area. Sign me up. So let me crack this one open, get it in the glass, see what we got going on. But yeah, I'm pretty excited about this one. So let's give it a pour here. So this is gonna be hazy, despite the fact they call it American Pale Ale on the label. This is a hazy pale ale, or a New England style pale ale for sure. So yeah, that's looking hazy. It's looking like what you kind of want for a sub 6% pale ale. Love the label too, very nice. A little bit of spillage everywhere, we'll clean that up afterwards. So yeah, that has that hazy kind of yellow-orange color. The head itself looking very soap sudsy, very soap sudsy. It's dissipating quite a bit, but very soap sudsy, bright white, very murky and turbid. Hold it up to the light. Yeah, I mean, that's a hazy pale ale for days. Let's get a nose. That smells awesome. Oh, you know what? I'm starting to reminisce a lot of times when I smell some of these beers. Like, this reminds me of having a pale ale or even like maybe a 6.5% New England style IPA back in like the mid 2010s for the first time. You smell it and you're like, man, there's a ton of like juicy sweet citrus. There's a little bit of stone fruit in there, maybe a touch of tropical. But this is like clementine, there's tangerine, there's, dare I say, Tangelo. I have to mention it pretty much once a week or so, but Tangelo is a juicy, beautiful citrus fruit. And that just has such a huge character in this beer is Tangelo. It's basically grapefruit and tangerine, and it's awesome. A little bit of like a white peach, like ripened but not over ripened. Maybe a touch of pineapple, mango. It's definitely in order citrus, stone fruits, a little bit of tropical. There's this nice like almost grassy green floral hop note as well. And there's an underlying, I would say, more of a crackery malt sensation, and I get that a lot with pale ales, which you should be able to taste the malt a little bit to kind of let you know it's a lower ABV kind of crusher. Dude, this smells awesome. I shit you not, this smells awesome. Now, I've heard some folks say like Lustra's kind of fallen off since they started getting more distro and whatnot, and you hear that a lot when breweries start to distribute, and maybe they open up another facility and they got to dial it and everything. I've never had Lustra before, but I'll tell you, what is in my glass right now smells awesome. Smells like a very impactful sub 6% pale ale, beautiful, juicy, fruity notes, and a nice kind of like, floral, grassy green hop character to kind of balance everything all out. No real hop burn, so I don't think this is like super duper fresh, like a couple weeks old, but it smells pretty fresh to me. Let's get into it. Cheers, everyone. Yeah, I could drink 7,000 glasses of that. Not really, but yeah, here's the thing that I think some folks, I love the finish. Some folks might, I don't know, find issue with a beer like this is you're drinking something that's 5.8%. It's meant to be a very sessionable crusher of a beer. You can't expect flavors typically out of a beer like this, comparatively speaking, to like a 8%, 8.5% double IPA. If you want that, you go drink those beers. This, for a sub 6% beer, has a lot of nice flavors, but it's still subtle and light enough to kind of allow you to drink multiple cans, if not a 4-pack of this, without weighing down your palate. Body, I would say lower side of medium body, 5.8%, it's fine. Mouthfeel, a little bit of a knock on the mouthfeel here. It's a little bit more carbonated than I anticipated. It's like Mild to moderately carbonated, more approaching moderate. It does have a nice smooth essence to it, but it's not creamy. It's not like super soft. Do I necessarily need that out of this beer? No. I think actually maybe the carbonation helps play a role here to make it more refreshing and kind of crisp, right? But for something that looks like this, I thought the mouthfeel was going to be a little bit more softer and a little bit of creaminess, but it's fine. The taste, it's kind of the nose carried over about 80%. There's a lot of citrus character at the front of the palate. Again, clementine, there's tangerine, tangelo, grapefruit. There's a big mixture of citrus fruit. It's juicy, it's rindy, it's sweeter, all at the front. Right after that, I get a crackery kind of almost bready malt sensation, dives underneath the palate, and you don't really get that again, but it's kind of like initially you feel it on the palate, and then you're like, oh, okay, that's a little bit of like a crackery malt sensation. It never pops up again, but it's kind of underneath the palate, propping everything up. There's a little bit of that white peach, I would say more under-ripened white peach. A little bit of a mango, maybe a touch of like a honeydew melon, like a slight honeydew melon. And the finish, it's grassy, it's green, it's floral. There is a nice kind of, I would say, mild to moderate bitterness, more approaching moderate, but not too like bitter for the style. There's a nice semi to full on dry kind of finish as well. Yeah, this is nice. Is it mind-blowing to me? It's not mind-blowing, but it's tough for a beer like this to be mind-blowing. Here's what I'll say. I get why this kind of is the one that Dancing Gnome is known for. I can see them, brewing this for the first time. People are like, wow, for 5.8%, they have some really nice flavors. I can drink a lot of it. I'm sure the price point's pretty nice. I'm sure they make beers that other people think are better than this. I've had some in the past, but for like a flagship beer, probably on tap all the time at their brewery, and something you can probably, I would say, readily available to some degree. Even if this is rotating and maybe they release it every couple months or something, it's probably something you could have in the fridge if you're in and around the Pittsburgh area and not really have to search too far to pick some up. It's really nice. Oh, I poured in the rest. I don't know, kind of more intense. There's a little bit, we'll say, I think this is fresher. There's a little bit of hop burn. Just a very smidge, especially after pouring the entire can in. Just at the back of the palate, a little bit of like a fresh kind of green burny sensation that's not too big, but I think this is a little bit fresher. So this is damn good. Is it my favorite from them? No, but I think was it Wishbone? There's two beers I reviewed, Warm Hand Splash and Wishbone. Whatever the pale version of that beer was, it's very similar to this in a lot of regards. This, though, a little bit more old school, but just super well made. So Lustra from Dancing Gnome, I have absolutely no issues whatsoever in giving this beer a high 4.25. I'm going to go 4.35. Almost gets in the low 4.5 range for me. But this beer right here, really damn good. And again, you have to take into consideration, it is a 5.8% hazy pale ale. And to get a 4.35 out of 5 means, to me, it's pretty damn good. If you want to say stylistically what this is like a 4.7, 4.75. Like, it's that good for the style. You don't find many sub 6% hazy pale ales that have great characters like this, super drinkable as well. 5.8%, you really can't tell. Price point availability. Here's where it's going to be a little bit more expensive because, again, this is distro in Buffalo, New York from Pittsburgh. I think I paid $4.49 for that can, and I want to say 4-packs were either $16 or $17. I don't know what they cost at the brewery. I would not be surprised if this is more $14 to $16 at the brewery, which would be fine. But here in the Western New York area, it was 16 or 17 bucks. I don't remember what it was for. 4-pack, I paid $4.49 for that can. Would I buy this again? I might. I honestly might here, even at that price point. Why? It's really damn good. And for someone who can't drink, more than a beer, sometimes two, if it's a low ABV beer, yeah, this is something I could have in my fridge and maybe, have one every once in a while and be happy with it. So availability, I have no idea what Dancing Gnome outside. They're in Pittsburgh. They're in a lot of places in Pennsylvania in general, and we get them here in the West New York area. I don't know if they see a lot of distro, but if you are outside of Pennsylvania, you can get your hands on Dancing Gnome. Let me know. Post in the comment section. Have you had this? Have you had any within their Lustra lineup? What is your favorite? What else should I seek out from Dancing Gnome if it shows up here in Buffalo? Because I'd like to drink more from them, but there's so many breweries now, I don't have a pulse on like what are the go-to. I just knew when it comes to Dancing Gnome, Lustra was the beer to get. I got it. It's really damn tasty. So appreciate everybody stopping by for another beer review here on the Beer Patrol. To the next one. Cheers.